Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I have another reaction for you guys on Law and Crime Network. I really been watching these crimes and it's just more wake you up. I already watch a lot of ID Discovery podcasts. I love true crime, and it's just a lot. I watch this stuff to wake me up. So like you really got to watch your surroundings and be careful. Nobody's safe. Everybody can do anything. So this is about a San Antonio teenager, a female who was strangled, dumped in a drain and ditch after a walk with a neighbor. That is so random. And y'all, she was only 17 and they was walking under a bridge. So I'm curious about the I'm just curious. So let's get into this reaction.
A 17-year-old girl is found dead in a drainage ditch out in Texas. With no arrests nor suspects currently identified, we ask who could have done this and what is law enforcement doing behind the scenes. We speak with Detective Eric Barnes. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
I like the way he tells the
out of
story.
Texas we want to talk to you about right now. 17-year-old Caitlin Hernandez, a senior at Roosevelt High School in San Antonio, supposed to graduate this spring, somebody who spent time with family, loved dogs. She went for a walk last week, only to wind up dead. Her naked body found in a drainage ditch under a bridge less than a half a mile from her home. Apparently, a man had found her phone in that area. Then law enforcement respond. They find a blue jacket, and then they find her body.
Oh.
Now, at the time of this recording, there have been no arrests. There have been no official suspects identified. The ME office indicating that Caitlin was strangled. Her aunt, Crystal Rodriguez, told a local media outlet, KSAT, that the family is, quote, barely holding up. We're taking life right now, 1 minute at a time. She wanted to become a veterinarian. You all took her from us too soon. 17 years old. All right, for that, let me bring on Detective Eric Barnes. Just a horrible case. And Detective Barnes, thanks so much for coming on. The first place that I want to talk about here is the male friend. So it has been reported that Caitlin was walking with a male friend.
Was he her age?
This is before she was killed. Caitlin's family allegedly saw him later in the day without Caitlin, and he said he didn't know where she was. Apparently, he is cooperating with law enforcement. What do you think that questioning is like?
Well, the questioning with this individual is going to be very intensive. He is the quintessential link to your crime, so you have to spend a lot of time, just getting down to the details with him, the last time they were together, where they were at, and if there was anybody else involved or that was possibly with them.
Do you think if there was more to his story than it is initially being reported, if they believe he had a part in it, would we know right now, or is law enforcement going to keep that very close to the chest?
I think at this point in the investigation, that's something that law enforcement is going to keep very close to the chest. You don't want to jump the gun in cases like this. Obviously, there weren't too many witnesses around, and so they're probably just making sure they have all their ducks in a row before they just...
Talk to me about the state in which she was found. For me, I think that says something. The idea of being found in this drainage ditch under a bridge close to her home. What do you make of all that?
Well, just given the facts of how she was found, it gives off the impression that something happened and went wrong really fast. The fact that she didn't travel too far away from her home, gives you the idea that, maybe soon after she left her house, she was attacked. The fact that she doesn't have any clothing on, I think is a telltale sign that potential sexual assault is in the play. And also the fact that, she was found in a drainage ditch. So the suspect was trying to cover his tracks very quick.
Yeah.
Whoa, that was already a lot. So she was sexually assaulted because they know she didn't have any clothes on her. Then he just thrown her in the ditch like it's nothing. And I always got a gut feeling. I feel like it's him once because they seen him with her, but then they seen him without her. There's so many. You never know. That is so sad. And I cannot imagine that. I don't even want to imagine like the family. That's just so heartbreaking. I can't imagine. She's so young. And I wonder if he's her age, if they know that, or if they're going to say that. These cases like this, y'all, these young girls going missing like so freaking fast. And, whatever happened, you could tell it was planned because I don't know. It's always the fact that she went walking with that dude and they didn't see him with her, but he's cooperating. But people, I've seen so many cases that he can easily just be cooperating to throw people off. Just since it's unknown, I can't say that he did it or something. Now, this is
unfortunately,
dark.
I think you're right about the sexual component there, although we can't confirm it. It seemed to me, though, there was an effort to hide her body, but not
Was
hide
it?
her very
Because he
well.
really wanted
right?
people to see it.
It's still relatively in the open.
That is
And that would
scary to
signify
find,
to
like,
me
see something like that.
perhaps this is somebody who didn't have the means or the opportunity to dispose of her body in a different way.
That's correct. You know, the fact that she's hidden so close to her home, it definitely points out that someone knew the area pretty well. But it also signifies that maybe at some point in the process, that maybe in trying to hide her, that maybe it was interrupted. You know, maybe a car passed by, maybe an onlooker distracted them, and they just.
So yeah, definitely he said so he's thinking that they're over here talking that he think that the dude possibly could have got like spooked or somebody was coming up or somebody could have been walking nearby and that's why he left her like that. I seen so much true crime, y'all. I feel like that he wanted her to be seen and also to kind of scare people because I don't know, for somebody to find a body in a ditch is so freaky, and then they be walking or even if driving by you like glance over there, that'll make you like swerving off the road like that. I feel like that was meant to do that. It's creepy though. Like, that's really eerie, and that's so sad to be just dumped like that, like you're trash. There's some crazy people out here, y'all. Like, a lot of people do this, and oh my god, I don't know. It's something about like, y'all, where I live, there's a ditch all across there. The lake is all the way back there, but it's like a stream over here, and it's a whole ditch, and the train tracks are right there. I look over there all the time. I'd be like, what if I just see a body? I'd be thinking that. I'm like, because it's like a big old drain thing, and then you can walk under the tunnel. I don't do that, but nobody's walking under there because it's like water coming out. But I'd be thinking, I'm like, what if it's like somebody like easily dump a body over there? I'm always looking over there because I swear, I would not want any of that to happen to anybody, and it's just so sad that people are dumping these people like they're trash.
Decided to move on.
And they didn't take the phone. Whoever did this didn't take the phone, left the phone there.
They left the phone or they
That's
took
correct.
the phone?
You know, sometimes when perpetrators are involved in these crimes and they're not really thought out too well, you know, you rush. You know, the paranoia of getting caught kind of interferes with the planning process and you make mistakes.
I imagine they're testing her body as well as the blue jacket and the phone for what? Fingerprints, DNA? Is that what you think this might be happening behind the scenes?
That's correct. DNA is going to be huge in this case. You want to make sure that you locate any parts or any evidence that may have been touched by the suspect. The phone is definitely going to be huge. But a big,
So they got the phone.
big question mark will be, you know, the fact that she was hidden in a ditch. If
There's no cameras over there or something? Anything?
Contamination or actually disturbing evidence.
Oh, it's just so sad.
So the ME office, and this is what it's being reported, says that she was strangled, but there was no visible signs of trauma. What does that tell you about the killer?
Well,
Did he know what he doing?
Appearance that the killer was someone that she trusted. For a strangulation to occur, someone had to get close to her, and the fact that there's no physical signs of trauma would indicate there wasn't a physical fight or a struggle that took place leading up to it.
So that shows you that she definitely probably knew the person. I wonder if he probably went in for like a hug and then did it, because you wouldn't attack somebody if they're doing that. You would. I feel like he got close to her and then did that. That's
Someone
crazy.
that she trusted enough to let her get close to her
Yeah.
in a position that they could strangle her without an all-out fight taking place.
Maybe it's like a
I've
boyfriend or
covered cases
something.
like this before, and a lot of experts say that strangulation is a very intimate method of killing someone. Sometimes it shows a level of anger because it takes effort
Yeah,
to
I'm pretty
watch
sure.
somebody die like that. And again, I can't confirm at this point that the cause of death was strangulation. It could be that the ME's office saw that there was a part of her that was strangled, but I don't know if that's the exact cause of death. Having said that, strangling somebody, I've always been told, is a very intimate way and says something about the
I
perpetrator.
did not know that.
I think so. I think with strangulation, you know, in some murders, if a knife is used or a firearm is used, you can do that from some distance, but the closeness that you have to have with a physical being to actually physically cut off their breathing and to be close enough that you
I'm
actually
sorry.
can feel their pulse. And
Yeah, I get. Like I see what you're talking about because you can like feel everything. Also, I think just because a lot of people, it'd be people who like to get choked out during hookups and stuff. Hooking up with your partner. People who like to do that too. So yeah,
actually feel their skin while they're taking their last breaths. That
that's
is
a
a very
sick person to do that.
intimate type crime scene.
So obviously we have a lot of questions as to what happened here and who's responsible, but I think there is a through line through a lot of the stories we cover, and that is it is so important to know who's around you. It is so important to know who you're surrounding yourself with. That's
I might have to look at that Truth Finder,
I
y'all.
want to ask you about something that
know who
Caitlin's
you talking
aunt
to.
had said, Miss Rodriguez. Said,
see.
quote, "I used to live in this area, so I know what you see, you don't say. But I'm begging you, please, please, somebody speak up." What do you make of that statement, and how difficult will it be to get answers from people?
Well, I could tell you one of the biggest misconceptions in murder investigation is that the detectives solve the case. In my experience, that's not true. It's normally the neighborhood that solves the cases. We can't do our job without the help of the public. And so I think that her aunt was speaking out and just saying that
I
if
downloaded
there's
the app, y'all,
someone
because
that
I want
saw
to see.
something, please say something, because that could be the link that the police need to make the arrest. And I think it is the culture in some neighborhoods that people don't get involved with police business. They tend to stay closed off into their own affairs, and they don't want to get involved with law enforcement.
I'll tell you, it's also being reported that a neighbor who apparently didn't want to be identified, wanted to be anonymous, talked about what she heard that night. And the quote is, "I actually saw two males standing next to the ditch shining a light down there. After a couple of seconds of that, I then heard a female shout, 'Hey.' I want to say it was in the ditch. It echoed
Two
like he was in the
people?
ditch. But then after that, it just kind of went quiet." What do you think about that?
Oh, that's scary.
Well, I think that's very problematic in terms of just trying to place a timeline into when it was that she was actually deceased. But I think it also has a lot of promising upside for law enforcement because it clearly identifies that there's multiple witnesses that can kind of
Yeah,
help you
multiple
piece
criminals.
together the unknown in this case.
We're
It's
making
possible
an
that
account,
there's
y'all.
individuals that were shining the light, could be persons of interest that police need to speak with, and the individual that saw these people shining the light could be potential witnesses.
So I want everybody to know that if you have a tip, if you have information, you can call Crime Stoppers at 210-224-STOP. You can also text tip 127 plus whatever tip you have to crimes. That's 274837, or you can use the P3 tipped apps. In fact, Crime Stoppers is apparently offering a $5,000 reward for information leading to a felony arrest. Detective Barnes, in your experience, as you were saying, you encourage anybody with relevant, important information to come forward. But how does law enforcement and investigators sort through all the tips, sort through all the leads, sort through all the information that might be coming in about what happened to Caitlin?
But when the calls come in, investigators typically will work on the calls as a call-by-call basis. They'll treat each individual call as its individual piece of the investigation. They'll work to either verify the factual information left by the caller, or either rule it out as saying, okay, this is going to be a valid tip, or no, it's not. And they just take their time with those tips. And I think the anonymous tip line is a great way, especially in neighborhoods where people may not be very motivated to speak with the police out front. It gives them an avenue or a channel for them to reach out because they don't agree with what happened in their neighborhood as well.
It's just a really, really sad case.
It is a sad case. That's because she's so
Caitlin
young.
Hernandez was in the prime of her life. We talked about how she was about to graduate. She meant so much to her friends and family. And for this to happen is just unthinkable. And we're wishing her family the best. And
I'm really curious about how this is going to end. I want to stay up with this case too, or check on an update because this was a month ago. So I'm actually curious. That is so sad, y'all. It's just when I be hearing a case, I always try to get my thoughts of even when I listen to podcasts, I'm like, let me see. I heard a crime and I want to see what happened, or get my own theory about what happened. So when somebody said they heard two voices, like probably two people. Could be. They could have easily lured her down there or like kidnapped her, took her down there after like walking by something. One person could have did it if they knew her and got close to her, and because maybe like that's why when they said strangulation and he said it's an intimate way of killing somebody, getting that close to somebody, definitely hugging them or kissing them. That's why I think somebody she dated or somebody that liked her, or she's probably going on a date, or that dude who was last seen with her that's cooperating. Oh, this is gonna come out. This is so sad. She was so young, supposed to graduate high school, man. That is so crazy, man. Oh my God. What do you guys think about this case? I'm actually curious. Since I love true crime so much, I was thinking I really want to react to. I was thinking about reacting to Stephanie Sue's her Rotten Mango on YouTube, because I watch it on podcast. I watch all the podcasts, but they're just some long videos, and I was like, my battery would get too hot. But it would be really interesting because I be giving my opinions all day on those. I rewatch those so many times. I listen to them all day while driving, studying. I'm gonna listen to one while I'm doing my homework today. But I'll see. But yeah, this is a sad case, y'all. It's just so sad. So many people are going like dying young. When she was only 17. I'm curious about who did this, and they deserve to be brought down. There's no like it could be a stalker. That's the thing, that the fact that they don't know who it is, or like have like an inch of who it is. That one dude who was last seen with her is like the number one prime suspect. That's it. That's just crazy, y'all. What do you guys think? This is so scary. And this is in San Antonio, Texas. She was so young. She didn't deserve that. And like I said before, just the thought of being like, I feel like they wanted her to be caught. Because like, the picture of that, the ditch, wasn't even like a ditch, but it was like, it's hidden, but it's not. If you walk, you can glance and you'll see something. That's just sad. I don't ever want to find a body, bro. That's so sad. Oh, rest in peace, little girl. She didn't deserve that. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.